Just ahead on CTV News.
A Prince George's County family is pleading with the public's help tonight in locating their missing daughter. I'm Katara Jones. I'll tell you who she is and more details on her disappearance coming up on CTV News.
And an arrest has been made in the Firehouse explosive case. Plus, get your tickets. Powerball is growing. And are you ready for some football? The start of the NFL season is just days away. All that and more coming up next on CTV News.
Good evening. This is CTV News for September 2nd. I'm Anaya Falcon.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, topping our news tonight, a family on a desperate search to find their adult daughter who has gone missing.
Despite their fears over where she is, the family hasn't stopped looking for her. CTV's Katara Jones is in Langley Park, where the young woman was last seen.
A Prince George's County family is in crisis mode right now. That's because their 19-year-old daughter, Dakara Thompson, has been missing for more than a week, and her family is desperately hoping to find her.
I'm scared, but I'm still hopeful.
19-year-old Dakara Thompson went missing back on August 22nd. She told her father that she was leaving to gas up her car, but the young woman never returned back to her father's Lanham home. The family was able to track her car and found it parked here in front of a fire hydrant on the intersection of Jasmine Terrace and Riggs Road in Langley Park. Her purse was inside, but her car keys and phone were gone. Dakara's father says Prince George's police are working to find his daughter, but are asking the family to be tight-lipped on sharing details with the public.
Yes, they don't want to mess up an active investigation, but they are doing some stuff.
On Sunday, the family hosted a vigil where Dakara's car was last parked, and the family believes this surveillance video could possibly be her in the area. Just yesterday, Dakara's mother was out near a grassy area looking for any signs of her daughter.
I'm exhausting any resource, anything that I can think of. I noticed this yesterday when I rode by to go to the location. I noticed it from my right view when I was riding by, and I made a note to come back and check here also.
Now, if you believe you have seen Dakara Thompson, you can reach out to Prince George's County Police immediately, or you can contact the Black and Missing Foundation. Their number is 1-877-972-2634. Katara Jones, CTV News.
Thanks so much, Katara. This is still an active investigation, and again, if you know the whereabouts of Dakara Thompson, report that information to the police.
Meanwhile, a District Heights man has been arrested in connection with incendiary devices that were left at a Prince George's firehouse. The suspect, identified as 36-year-old Slater Chaya, who was picked up 3 days after this video was released by authorities. It shows the suspect carrying what appears to be Molotov cocktails and placing one in a mailbox and another in a driveway of Fire Station 805 in Capitol Heights. The man faces several charges, including possession of a destructive device. He's being held without bond and faces 25 years behind bars if convicted.
And this fall, Prince George's County's bid farewell to Six Flags America, marking the end of an era. But what happens to the land now? Experts say redeveloping a 500-acre amusement park won't be easy. In Aurora, Ohio, it took years of zoning changes and developer deals. In New Orleans, one site sat empty for nearly 20 years. Local officials are being urged to act now, demand a plan, involve the community, and move fast, because replacing a playground for thousands can take a decade or more.
And on the education front, artificial intelligence is already in Maryland classrooms, and teachers and students are using it, even as state officials race to set clear rules on how to effectively use and protect students from using it inappropriately. Now, some local districts are moving ahead on their own, Prince George's County Schools launched a 3-year plan last year to train staff, address ethical concerns, and weave AI into lessons. This school year, stakeholders will meet and staff will get hands-on training to figure out how to put the new technology to work without letting it get out of hand. And federal dollars are coming to Prince George's and Montgomery counties to help local students clear hurdles to higher education. Maryland's congressional delegation announced more than $726,000 in new grants for community colleges. Prince George's Community College will receive about $440,000 and Montgomery College about $286,000. The money comes from the U.S. Department of Education's TRIO Student Support Services Program, which helps first-generation low-income students and students with disabilities stay on track to graduate.
And meanwhile, it's wait and see for hundreds of Maryland state employees who applied for an early buyout program. Nearly 1,000 employees are hoping to learn more if soon they will be allowed to quit their jobs under a voluntary separation. The goal is to shrink the size of the state government and cut expenses. Under the plan, employees who are accepted in the program will receive $20,000 plus some benefits. The deadline to apply was August 4th. Applicants should learn if they've been accepted by the middle of the month, and a similar voluntary separation program in 2015 had an acceptance rate of only 38%. And the AmeriCorps program has been revived just a couple of months after they had to shut their doors. Earlier this year, the program had to shut down as a result of President Donald Trump's cuts to the national service programs. This caused many people in the Maryland Conservation Corps to lose their jobs. However, the program was saved due to a court injunction. Maryland and a coalition of other states were able to secure more than $184 million of federal funding.
Well, to boycott or not to boycott? That's the question facing arts lovers as the Trump administration takes control of the nation's cultural crown jewel. The Kennedy Center is seeing a wave of backlash after President Trump ousted its board chair and canceled programs like the Gay Men's Chorus of D.C. Ticket sales have plunged nearly 40% compared to last year. Renowned soprano Renee Fleming and the musical Hamilton have already cut ties, but others argue the center is finally reflecting the people rather than what they call elite politics. You're watching CTV News. I'm Michaela Newton.
And I'm Anaya Falcon. Still to come.
It's the first day of classes for students at the University of Maryland College Park, and there's a lot of excitement in the air. I'm Jonathan Hunter. I spoke to several students who say they're ready to hit the books. I have more coming up.
Okay, Dad, look at you.
I look nice, don't I?
I see you.
Yeah.
Adding your own flavor to fashion comes with age.
Oh, man, that's the best one yet.
Forgetting how to add doesn't. Finding it difficult to work with numbers may be a sign of Alzheimer's.
Dad, are you okay?
An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one.
High school.
Hey, Dad. Do you want to talk about what happened earlier?
Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's. Some things come with age. Some others don't.
Love is a lesson that doesn't end. It knows no conditions, so you better buckle in. Love keeps you on your toes. It never stops, only grows. Love isn't easy, it's a commitment, especially when they're being their most resistant. Love is finding the right seat so you can take a breath. But remember, love isn't lax, it always double checks. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation, innovating to prepare students for our fast-changing world. They're skilled experts, discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org.
Welcome back. Thousands of students returned to class today at the University of Maryland College Park.
That's right. CTV News' Jonathan Hunter spoke to several incoming freshmen who say they're ready for college life.
It was all smiles at College Park today, and students got to meet Testudo, the mascot, during their first day of class.
Yeah, Testudo, he's awesome. He's everywhere on campus, but I never seem to be able to meet him. So it was fun to be able to finally have the opportunity to go see him in real life, get to know him.
This year, College Park welcomed roughly 5,028 incoming freshmen. We spoke to some students who tell CTV News they're ready to make the transition from high school to college.
Honestly, like it's so freeing. It's so different from high school. Like you have so much time to do things. You can go with friends at lunch, dinner. You're going to parties. Like it's insane. It's such a difference from high school.
So I'm from Florida, and I was between a Florida school and a Maryland school. But walking around the campus, I feel safe here. I feel like everyone is so friendly.
And while it's the first day of classes, there's also a bit of anxiety for seniors who will be graduating in the spring. Several studies are showing that recent college graduates are experiencing higher unemployment rates compared to recent years.
It's hard to get a job right now, so just the stress of that, like coming out of school, and that gap between getting that job, like it's uncertain.
And at the University of Maryland College Park, the new year brings changes. The school's Office of Diversity and Inclusion is now called Belonging and Community. Dozens of institutions across the country have renamed or eliminated their DEI offices since President Donald Trump began his second term.
I think they changed it probably because of Trump's, things like budget cuts and stuff like that. So as long as they're not changing what it's for, I can still support it.
And Davis has simple advice for all of the freshmen on the first day of class.
I will say have fun, but also focus on your studies as well. Just make the most of your time here.
In College Park, Jonathan Hunter, CTV News.
Thanks so much, Jonathan. And the last day of classes for fall semester is December 12th.
And the Powerball jackpot rose to an estimated $1.3 billion Monday night after the winning numbers failed to appear. The numbers drawn were 8, 23, 25, 40, 53 with the Powerball 5. No one has matched all 6 numbers since May 31st, allowing the jackpot to swell to $1.3 billion, which would be the 5th largest prize in the game's history. We spoke to a few hopefuls about what they would do with the money if they get the winning ticket.
Pay my mother's house off so she could be set. She won't have to worry about things. Buy stuff for me and my family, take us on an exquisite vacation all over Europe, and keep it living.
Build a compound for my people, affordable housing, chicken coops, cows, horses, veggie farm, veggies. We growing all our crops. I mean, that would be my vision. That's the American dream, right?
And the next Powerball drawing is tomorrow. As federal food assistance programs face reductions, many Maryland residents say they're having to make choices between buying food and other essential bills. A new poll conducted by No Kid Hungry sampled 1,053 Maryland residents found that more than 8 in 10 Marylanders said increases in the cost of food are outpacing their income. Currently, the state and federal governments split administrative costs for SNAP 50-50, while the federal government pays for 100% of the benefit. This changes next year when states will pay 75% of administrative fees, which is estimated to cost Maryland $173 million.
And meanwhile, a public health alert has been issued for a Trader Joe's frozen pepperoni pizza imported from Italy. The USDA says the product did not receive required reinspection upon re-entry into the U.S. The pizza comes in 17.63-ounce boxes labeled Trader Joe's Uncured Pepperoni Pizza, product of Italy, with best buy dates of August 16th and 21st of 2026. No illnesses have been reported, but the USDA urges consumers not to eat the pizza. For questions, call Trader Joe's at 626-599-3817 or the USDA hotline at 888-MP-HOTLINE. And Costco executive members are now able to benefit from some extra shopping time. Effective yesterday, those members now get early access into the big box store 1 hour before regular shoppers. The new hours run from 9 to 10 a.m. on Monday through Friday and Sunday, and from 9 to 9:30 a.m. on Saturdays. The executive membership costs $130 a year and includes 2% back on purchases and delivery perks. The basic membership still costs $65, but doesn't include early entry. Costco says the change rewards loyalty, but some shoppers say it's unfair to regular members. And still to come on CTV News, Dr. Hack returns, and today she's talking pelvic health.
Stay tuned to find out what it is and early warning signs you should know. We'll be right back.
Listen up. It's the fourth quarter. You're almost there. Your boys just turned 18, but they need one more push. Don't let them forget to register with the Selective Service System. It's required by law, and if they don't register, they'll miss out on many important federal benefits. Parents, teachers, coaches, say it with me. SSS.gov. SSS.gov. Let's get them registered today.
Welcome back. Many women were taught to hover over public toilets or make a trip to the bathroom just in case before leaving the house. But health experts say these common habits could actually be doing more harm than good, potentially weakening your pelvic floor muscles over time.
Yeah, many women have heard of the pelvic floor, but most, they don't really know much about it. It's kind of a mystery. So here today to answer some of the questions you may have about the pelvic floor health is Dr. Stephanie Hack. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Stephanie.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So what is the pelvic floor?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. So in our pelvis, and this is something that everybody has, it's not specific to women, but we have muscles in our pelvis, and they act kind of like a cradle or a hammock, and they hold up all of the organs that's in our pelvis. So for women, like your uterus, your cervix, your bladder, your rectum, these things are held in place by muscles and connective tissue, and that is called the pelvic floor.
So how do you notice when you're getting maybe a pelvic floor problem or an issue happening where it's like weakening? What should someone do?
Sure. So one of the most common things that people begin to report is feeling a bulge. So they may feel a bulge in their pelvis, and that's something called pelvic organ prolapse, and that's a sign of pelvic floor dysfunction or problems with the pelvic floor. But something else is they can start to have problems with their bladder. So bladder functioning, not being able to pee, not being able to have bowel movements like they did before. And they can also have sexual dysfunction as well. So there are a number of things that play into that.
And so who is most at risk for pelvic floor disorders? Are things like childbirth, age, or lifestyle habits major contributors?
They are. So being pregnant, regardless of the type of delivery that you have, is a risk factor, but then also vaginal deliveries. In addition, things like someone with chronic constipation, someone who smokes, someone with obesity, all of these things put extra stress on those muscles, and so that's why it increases the risk factors.
And when should someone go to a doctor if they're having some of those symptoms?
Sure. So the second you start to feel a bulge, or if you notice, oh, I can't quite pee the same, or I can't have a bowel movement like I did before, those are all reasons to initiate the conversation with your doctor.
And there's a lot of misinformation out there. So what are the biggest myths about pelvic floor health that you can kind of debunk for us today?
Oh, definitely. I'd say there are two main ones. One, that it's normal when people start to have pelvic floor problems. A lot of times when we age, we think, oh, that's normal. Normal and common are not the same. So just because something is more common as we get older doesn't mean it's normal. Normal makes you feel like you don't need to get it checked out. You should still get it checked out. And then the other one is that it only happens for us as we get older. But you can also have pelvic floor dysfunction in younger women, especially if they're postpartum, if they've had kids.
And we talked a little bit earlier about if a woman goes to like a public bathroom, you're kind of like squatting over the toilet. Is that something that we should steer clear of, or is that a myth as well?
I hate to say it, but you don't want to put stress on your pelvic floor. So wipe the seat down, put down your toilet tissue or whatever you do, and just sit. Don't strain those muscles.
And anything that you can just provide for us in terms of, demographics, are there specific demographics that are more prone to having these issues?
Sure. So pelvic floor dysfunction is more common after 40. So it's really only about 1 in 10 women that have it kind of from 20 to 40, but then it gradually increases the older we get because those risk factors like obesity increase. We also experience hormone changes and things that can also affect our pelvic floor muscles. And, you're more likely to have finished your pregnancy and childbirthing and gone through all of that. So really the older we get, those things become more common.
What are some ways that you can strengthen your pelvic floor? I've heard about Kegel exercises. I don't even know if I'm saying it correctly, Kegel, but
Yeah.
Is that a way that you can strengthen your pelvic floor muscles?
They are, but they're not for everybody. And I say that because with pelvic floor dysfunction, often those muscles, what we talk about, the muscles are getting weaker, but for some people they have tight muscles and they're overactive. So actually doing Kegels can make it worse. But for people who have weak pelvic floor muscles, then the Kegels can help. So always begin the consultation with your physician, and they can kind of inform you if Kegels make sense for you. But then also doing things like stop smoking, maintain a healthy weight, manage constipation so that it doesn't get too bad, stop hovering over the toilet, just reducing all of those other risk factors.
All right, Dr. Hack, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, for more information on women's health and Dr. Hack's podcast, visit ladypartsdoctor.com. And don't move, Simon Buggs has our Tuesday sports page.
Yeah, that's right, and he's talking Negro League baseball and more.
Stay right there, everyone, because I have some highlights for you from the Terps football team's first game of the season. You'll want to see this. Don't move. We'll be right back.
You've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You have to carefully monitor your health for the rest of your life, and you have an increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease.
Cut.
Type 2, take 2.
Action.
You've been diagnosed with a new purpose, to fight for the amazing life you made for yourself, to look that risk of heart disease square in the face and say, no, not me. You've been given a new opportunity to live. Get started at NoDiabetesByHeart.org.
CTV News.
I sat down with the interim superintendent to talk about what students and parents can expect this school year.
As students prepare to head back to school, county police are looking to fill an important safety position.
We have a lot of people fired up about supporting our children.
All 9 sororities and fraternities that make up the Divine Nine are coming together to donate for Prince George's County students.
PGCPS is rolling out their new bus tracker app that shows how students are getting to and from school.
People really want to be here. They know the great things that we're doing here.
These are kids that are literally going to change our world.
Yeah, we're excited to have 132,000 students coming back into our doors.
CTV News, bringing you news that you need to know.
Hey there, sports fan. It's time for your Tuesday sports page. Now, it was a day of celebration over at Prince George's Stadium this past Saturday as fans of baseball gathered there to honor the Negro League Hall of Fame. And in one of the events, baseball players took the diamond to compete against one another in a vintage East versus West All-Star game to pay homage to Gus Greenlee and others who formed the first All-Star game back in 1933. In the first inning, it was a quick 3 outs for the East as they didn't score any runs. But the West did, and after these 2 RBIs from the team, it put them ahead 2-0 after the opening inning. But in the second inning, the East finally got on board thanks to this nice hit from number 45 to get the runner back to home plate, and now the East was only down 2-1 to the West going into the third. And in the third inning, the East ended up tying the game at one point thanks to this double to left field from one of the ball players that also resulted in an RBI. And now the score of the ball game was 2-all. Soon after, this missed catch by the West third baseman on a stolen base play allowed the East to make a run forward to home plate, and after making it to home, the East was now ahead 3-2 on the West. But the lead changed once again after these runs from the West to make the score 4-3 going into the fourth inning. And in the fourth, the West blew the game wide open after this big hit from the team that resulted in a 3-run homer to make the score 7-3. And that will be all she wrote, as the West never gave up their lead and won the game 10-3. Meanwhile, over in College Park, the UMD football team took the field for their first game of the season against Florida Atlantic. The Terps were able to strike first in the matchup at the linebacker Daniel Wingate intercepted this pass by Owls QB Caden Veldkamp and ran it 20 yards into the end zone to give Maryland their first touchdown of the afternoon. But when the Owls offense got the ball back, they drove the ball down the field and capped off their drive with a touchdown of their own as Veldkamp completed his pass to Asad Wasim to tie the game at 7 apiece. Maryland was able to hold off Florida Atlantic's offense and keep the score tied going into the second quarter. Now Maryland got the ball first to begin the second quarter, and after not being able to get much going on offense, Sean O'Hare made this 49-yard field goal to go up 10-7 on the Owls. Fast forward to later in the quarter, the Terps defense just kept on making plays like this pick by Dante Joyner and this sack by Sidney Stewart that resulted in a safety and made the score 12-7 in favor of the Terps. Maryland's offense took the field soon after, and freshman quarterback Malik Washington began to get more comfortable. And as a result, he threw his first touchdown pass on this 29-yard completion to Shalik Knotts to go up 19-7 on Florida Atlantic. Washington ended up throwing 2 more touchdown passes in the quarter, one to Caleb Webb and another one to tight end Dorian Fleming, and went into halftime up 33-7 on the Owls. And Maryland kept their lead for the rest of the game, winning their first game of the season 39-7. CTV Sports caught up with former Terps Caden Prather and Tommy Akingbasote, where they both touched on how they felt their former team looked in the big game.
We're throwing the ball a lot, so I'm glad Locks ain't shied back from that. Malik's out there looking good. He's spreading the ball around to every receiver. We got a little run game going. It's looking really good. Offense is looking promising.
Boy, them young boys ready to go, man. They ready to rock and roll. They coming out here playing physical, playing with their hands. I see my safeties coming down, making tackles, and the corners making tackles and making interceptions, so they just came ready to play.
Washington spoke after the game, where he shared what it felt like being named the starter.
It was an amazing blessing, really, to be named the starter, for Coach to trust me. Started off a little slow, but as I felt myself, getting into the game, got the first couple hits out, and after that, I was rolling.
Congratulations on the win, Maryland. The team will return to action this Friday against Northern Illinois. Kickoff is at 7:30. And wrapping up sports, the countdown is on, NFL fans, as the start of the regular season is just 2 days away. The Philadelphia Eagles will begin their quest to repeat as Super Bowl champs in their game against a familiar foe in the Dallas Cowboys. The game begins at 8:20. And the Burgundy and Gold season will start just 3 days later when they take the field for their first game against the New York Giants. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock. And that wraps up your Tuesday sports page. Simon Bucks, CTV Sports.
All right, thanks, Simon. Let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast tonight. We'll be mostly clear out with light winds. Tomorrow is going to be mostly sunny with a high of 81. Thursday will be sunny, but we have a chance of showers between 2 and 5 p.m. Friday will be mostly sunny with a high of 86 and a low of 68 to kick off the weekend.
And for our community calendar, this Saturday, the Bowie Center for the Performing Arts is hosting the Miss Africa USA pageant, coronation ceremony. This event is a captivating experience of cultural pride, beauty, and inspiration and purpose, and it takes place from 5 to 11 p.m. And for tickets or more information, we want you to contact 240-440-2166.
All right, that's all the time we have for CTV News. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yes, we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.
Standing for the cause of liberty is as old as our country itself.
It is the American story, a story of fallible people, united across the generations by grand and enduring ideals.
The time has come to reaffirm our enduring spirit, to carry forward that promise that all are equal and all deserve a chance to pursue their full measure of happiness.